Good afternoon. This is Sam Vaughan for Sam's Sports Report. And Sam's Mental Health Day. We'll start with mental health first today. This will be an LGBTQ story. I know most places in Kansas City are starting with the we can focus on LGBTQ and more. We're going to focus on this mental health of LGBTQ and give you some numbers and a great story on Carl Nasbi. Carl Nasbi was a walk-on at Penn State, a scholarship that many thought that Nasbi would never get a scholarship. He was a walk-on player, somebody who walks on to a university but has no guarantees of making the team. He didn't have the gift of playing football, as well as most people do at the FBS level, but he proved everybody wrong. He had the gift of the smarts. One of those things, in my opinion, that he struggled with accepting, and obviously, that if you read the news on the story, which will have a couple links, LGBTQ accepting a part of the LGBTQ community. It is LGBTQ month. There are kids who would rather be dead than gay, and says former NFL player Carl Nasbi, who was the first active player to publicly identify his sexuality. I have been through all the sexual confusions. It was a longer time for me to go through them, but it doesn't eliminate the homophobia in the U.S. Now, in 2016, it was a different culture. Website called the Eric Russell LGBT Community History. That is a link for this site. They have volunteering for crisis prevention, just like 988, but I will say this is one of the hardest jobs to do because you have to be talking about suicide and you have to be able to contain yourself to not bring that into your daily life. Carly Nasbi, I think that my career is a platform, he said, that provides an avenue together to messaging the needed support for the LGBTQ youth that might not hear it every day. Nasbi told CNN. The Trevor Project predicts that over 3 million people in the LGBT community commit suicide each year. This goes up each year for sure. I would like to have a fundraiser for Pride Month, maybe this year, to this website, or this month to this website. Whether you're facing a bi, straight, pansexual, transgender, questioning your sexuality, most of your life, can many things lead to that? The answer is yes. With a priest grooming me in high school, it's hard to know whether he could have led to a problem with that issue. Since I can mostly not remember it, it can happen with anybody. That is someone as close to you that may seem like a family member, or even more different than that. Here are more controversy through this. Carl Nasbi had a controversial career, that was for sure. Here are more controversies throughout his career. Coach John Gruden, who got fired during an email which he said very mean things about Carl Nasbi. I don't exactly know what they were. In fact, I didn't even really know this was a story. And they're having teams who aren't supporting LGBTQ, much like the Buffalo Bills. Missouri Michael Sam was also one of the first players to come out as gay. Which was in 2013. He came out to his college team. This continues to be a political issue throughout the United States, obviously. And have the testosterone to tackle a player, and for this causes a lot of mental health problems and also a lot of stereotype problems and also more than problems. And if you want to look up what problems the NFL causes for maybe gay people or not, or whatever, sex confusion or whatever, look up the Aaron Hernandez story, who eventually was committed of killing people. One person, Oide, he was also charged with murder. 2 other men, Safari Fernando, in April 2017, Hernandez was found hanged in a prison cell at 3:05 a.m. He is pronounced dead of an apparent suicide, according to the Massachusetts Police Department. All of these are according to CNN, the Eric Russell Foundation, also CBS News, and here's a post of suicide rates for LGBTQ. That is according to the also Trevor Project. Next we move on to, and it keeps just going up. Here's some stats on that. And in baseball, the Royals call up Jack Caglione. That was the biggest news of Kansas City today. He hit the most home runs in a minor league baseball this season. Let me offer you a couple thoughts about it. First question will he perform? First question to me is the underrated question is, why did they send DeAndre Blanco back down? With Jack Caglione, you have to understand that he is so big that he will be caused to not be as fast in the right field position as other players. DeAndre Blanco is the top 10 fastest baseball players in the major leagues. He ranks 5th, yet Michael Massey is awful this season. He has hit 2 home runs, isn't fast, isn't good at outfield, which the Royals need. And if you can't hit runs in, can't hit home runs, can't hit for average, this is according to Stat Muses, he is one of the top 12 worst batting average and also has the least amount of home runs from that list, 1 through a lot. This is according to www.statmuse.com. Here's that link. I do have thoughts. This is obviously, he can hit the ball out of the ballpark. Now, it will be harder in Kauffman Stadium, probably. And he will also play right field, which I know the Royals have had problems with that position. And he hasn't played since high school until this season. But that didn't stop the Royals from doing that previously with John India and Michael Massey, who never made up for those. That play in left field, both of those players and Jack Caglione had never played right field until this season. Now, could they put him at first base? Probably. But the Royals like Vinny Pasquantino and Salvador Perez there, and Salvador Perez has made it clear he will not switch positions for day off and day on or at the designated hitter. Now, he is the slowest player out of both of those 3. Salvador Perez is the slowest player out of Vinny Pasquantino and Jack Caglione. in my opinion, although Vinny Castantino could play right also, they're going to try it this way. And while Salvador Perez is a borderline Hall of Famer and the best catcher in Royals history, the contract for Salvador Perez has been expensive. Now it goes down to $13 million for this year. Now this is according to Spotrac. Salvador Perez has overachieved for the last 2 or 3 years, and I did think the Royals should get rid of him. But that's Royals smack to Sam Vaughan smack. After Jack Caglianone was pulled up yesterday, the Royals will play cross-state rivals, the St. Louis Cardinals. The Cardinals lost 2 out of 3 to the Rangers, who are 2 games below 500. The Royals also lost the rubber match yesterday to the Tigers, who lead the American League Central. Chris Bubik pitched really well yesterday, only giving up 1 run, but the Royals could not produce runs. Hit why Jack Caglianone moved up today. Some maybe think they rushed him. We'll see. Although, when you produce the most home runs in the minor leagues, you can make that argument that pitching won't get any better in the minor leagues if he is hitting this well and hitting this many home runs. But right now, for a season, others say that it doesn't matter because he will continue to dominate in the minor leagues. Since we were not here yesterday, on Saturday, the Indiana Pacers, who haven't been to an NBA championship, the same story remains for the Oklahoma City Thunder. If you got back to Seattle, it's been since 1979 that they haven't won a championship. The Pacers have never won a championship. They did go in 2000 but lost. That's according to a Google search. Tip for the NBA championship is at 7:30. In the NHL, the Florida Panthers go to the Stanley Cup for the 4th season in a row. Now, they only have won one. They must get, but they want to get this one this time. Now, the Edmonton Oilers haven't won a Stanley Cup since 1989-1990, but have still won 5 Stanley Cups in their history. The Edmonton Oilers have been to 9 Cups throughout this history. That's according to stats, according to a Google search. Face-off is tomorrow at 7. Update on the Royal Stadium. We have a special session tomorrow, and nobody else knows what the heck's going to happen. Chiefs stay in Missouri, or does none of them stay in Missouri and move to Kansas? Obviously, rules are in each state. A special session is called for tomorrow from Michael Kehoe, Missouri Republican governor of Kansas. The rules are different in Kansas that they have a star bond, and which is basically stocks that are put into Kansas and will cover 70% of the stadium. They will not have to build. They will have to build a new stadium if they move to Kansas. If they don't, likely the Chiefs don't build a new stadium. Now the Royals have made it clear that as of right now they will not play at Kauffman Stadium. But I wonder if this doesn't happen by January, will they have to play at Kauffman Stadium until they build a new stadium? Because it doesn't sound likely anybody's going to move. So that's also that case. Some of this is according to Kansas City Star and a Google search. This is Sam Vaughan for Sam's Sports Report and Sam's Mental Health Day. Have a good afternoon.